Hey, y'all.
Hola, welcome to 30 Minutes Down South. She's Allison.
And he's Carlos, and we are two top producing realtors.
With two extremely different Southern upbringings.
Join us each week as we explore the Lake Murray area with our special guests.
Welcome, Allison.
Hello, Carlos.
How you doing today?
I am fabulous. How are you today?
I want you to sing that song that you were singing before.
Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't worry, be happy.
You know there's a new movie of Bob Marley coming out?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I really like Bob Marley.
Does he make you happy?
His music is,
Yeah.
you know. And
Just feel good music.
one of the things I always say about the music, the Bob Marley music, is that you can have people out there that they don't like heavy rock metal. People out there that don't like salsa music. People out there that they don't like classical music. They say, hey, I've never heard anybody, any single one person that can say, man, I hate Bob Marley. I don't like Bob Marley music. I hate it. I don't like it at all. Have you?
I don't. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that.
Yeah, it's universal music to heal the soul and very positive and relaxing, and it's good. It's melodic. I used to listen a ton of Bob Marley when I was a kid.
You're very insightful today.
I am. And I actually got to meet Bob Marley's mother, believe it or not.
You did not.
Yes, I did. And I'm gonna send you a picture. I was working for AXN Television. That was a television network, and they sent me to the Miami Film Festival to cover that with a crew. I want to say 2007, 2006, somewhere along those times. And guess who was there? Bob Marley's mother.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. She was there, and she was with a couple of her other sons, which, you know, Bob Marley's brothers. And and yeah, I got to shake her hand. I got to take a picture with her. I think I have that picture somewhere. I'm going to promise I'm going to post it.
See if you can dig it up. In the meantime,
let's
talk about our guest today.
Okay, who's our guest? Allison Parler.
We have an insurance broker who's going to be teaching us all, or talking to us all about health insurance and commercial insurance.
Do you know much about it?
No, I really don't.
I know one thing. I hate paying for insurance.
I know. Well, and I feel like every year it covers less and less.
Yeah. But, you know, on the other side of the coin, this year I actually had a big check from an insurance company because I had to replace my roof, and they actually covered the full amount. Also got to replace part of the dock that went down. I had a little issue with that.
With that microburst?
That microburst that hit last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in ground zero. It was bad, and that took a bunch of trees. The trees destroyed the dock and obviously damaged the roof. So I was able to get an approval for replacement for the insurance company. So that makes me feel a little bit, you know.
Yeah, but you know what that means? You're maxed out now.
What does that mean?
They're not going to pay anything else. You're not profitable to them.
Well,
They'll be like, look out for this guy.
How about we talk to Dana and ask what my options are going to be?
All right, let's see what she has to say.
Welcome, Dana Swarner, to our show.
Hey, Dana, how are you?
Good morning. I am well. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Did I pronounce it correctly? Because I've had a knack for pronouncing things differently.
Just a little.
Well, you got it right. Congratulations.
All right, Dana. You work for an insurance company. Actually, you're an insurance broker, correct?
I am. So I don't work with any one particular insurance carrier. I go out on behalf of my insureds and find the right product for them.
Okay, and the types of insurance that you handle the most are?
Mostly this time of year, it's health insurance and Medicare, but I also have a big focus on commercial insurance. So if you're a contractor, or if you're a small business owner, that is something that we can easily take care of in most cases.
Okay, so when you talk about health insurance, are you talking about people like Carlos and I who are self-employed and are looking for independent health coverage, or is it more a supplemental insurance that you're providing?
I do all of it. So my main clientele under 65 is the people who don't have access to health insurance through an employer. So it could be an employer that has fewer than 50 full-time equivalents, so they don't offer group health. Therefore, the employer and all of their employees are looking for affordable coverage. So I can do that through the marketplace. And people could easily do that themselves, but they don't know the difference between the carriers and often don't understand the idiosyncrasies of each plan. So the reason that they use an advisor is I know what I'm doing and it doesn't cost them anymore. The subsidy is the subsidy, the price is the price, depending on what they choose. But then I also have some group health accounts as well for those employers that want to subsidize in part or in full for their employees' health insurance. But then we do the supplemental as well. So I can come in and do the dental and the vision and the disability, the life insurance, the cancer insurance, the critical illness coverage.
Dana, what makes you choose one company over the other? Is it a case by case situation? It's money. It's reputation.
It's all of those things. When I'm shopping for an insured, I try to keep the cost as low as possible without sacrificing coverage. So I may have one carrier that's better, say, on the dental. I may have one carrier who's better on life insurance premiums. So sometimes within a single account, I will come in with more than one carrier.
And I'm
Now,
assuming that's kind of a la carte. Like you choose your major health insurance carrier, and then you're choosing if you know want or need dental. Are you somebody who spends part of the year in the dentist's office, or someone who doesn't need as much coverage? Do you look at that on a case by case basis as well?
right. So if we're doing group health, then of course we've got to have a census. Everybody can choose to opt out or to opt in. And then the voluntary is exactly the same. They can do nothing whatsoever. They can say, hey, I only want dental, or hey, I only want disability. Or they can say, you know what, this critical illness plus cancer makes a lot of sense because I do have exposure to out-of-pocket limits on my health insurance, and cancer or critical illness like stroke, heart attack, paralysis, coma, blindness. Those are the big whammies that would put somebody in the hospital. They would be out of work. They might be subject to rehab. So this is a situation where in that event, they would have disability and health insurance and a critical illness policy paying out for a single claim.
Okay, so I'm
With
assuming.
insurance,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Didn't mean to
No, no,
interrupt you.
no.
I thought that your idea was over. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I was gonna jump into like what my thought process goes. For example, if you have a company that it's people on their desk most of the time, you want to cover certain type of workers' comp. While if you have another company where everybody's out there on the field, say a roofing company, it's a whole different type of insurance that you want. Also, the majority of the people working on roof are males, so you really don't care much about natal insurance, correct? Or stuff like that. Is that the type of things that you take mostly into account when choosing a right program for a company?
Yes, but not on the health insurance side. Health insurance looks at if it's group, the whole package. If people are going out there on an individual basis, some companies require underwriting. During open enrollment for ACA, there is no underwriting, it's guaranteed issue. So I don't have to take the type of work that they do into account if we're looking at a guaranteed issue product. But Everything's different on the work comp side. Work comp is specific to each class code and payroll. So it's going to be way more expensive for somebody who's doing framing or roofing or exterior painting than it is for someone who works a clerical position.
Good. Now, another question, and that brings to our example as independent contractors. We're not part of a payroll, and we have to go on an independent insurance carrier. One of the difficulties that we see is, well, first of all, is how much expensive it is, and how so many options are out there. And when you start looking at the options, you start crossing out. No, I will never get this disease. I will never get that disease. I will never get. Well, to be fair, I will never get mammal cancer, for example. But you know what I mean. It's a very difficult process for us.
Yes, that's why I said you can go out there on your own, but most people shouldn't because they don't know enough about the health insurance industry or the particular carriers. And most people, because they're not in this profession, don't understand even the difference between deductibles and max out of pocket.
That's very
So my
true.
job is, yes, my job is to explain to them how the system works, get their information, choose plan recommendations for them, put them side by side in a comparison chart, and explain to them the pros and cons of each plan to help them make a decision.
So you do health insurance, but you also work on the commercial insurance side as well. Which
Yes.
do you prefer? In the grand scheme of things, which are you most fulfilled by helping people with?
Health insurance.
Can you give us an example of maybe someone who stood out that you were really able to help and provide them with a great service?
Yes. I had this gentleman that worked for an appraisal company, and he had not had insurance, any health insurance for years. And on the very last day of open enrollment, I was working with his significant other. Anyway, long story, but he finally decided maybe I should finally get insurance. And a few months later, he got a stage 3B cancer diagnosis.
Oh,
Came out of nowhere. And he called me up later that year and he said, I am so grateful because you saved me. If I hadn't had health insurance, those bills were in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. But because of the policy that I had, it covered most of it.
wow.
Well, now that you
Yeah.
mentioned the hospital bills, I know that this is probably a subject that you get every cocktail hour that you go out because we listen to it all the time. When you look at the bills from the hospital, they seem exaggeratedly large for the service they provide. And I understand. I understand it's not simple to become a doctor. It's a very long road and it's a lot of responsibility, and you have to pay for that. And research, let's not forget about research. But it does seem, and I don't have in hand the facts to prove it, but it does seem that when you come with an insurance, that bill can get inflated twice, 3 times, 4 times its value. Do you see that? What are you doing, not you as an individual, but as your industry, to prevent and combat this?
Well, that's where we get into the negotiated pricing. So let's say, for example, someone's got Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina. That's one of the oldest carriers here in South Carolina. They negotiate the pricing with Prisma and Lexington Medical Center and MUSC. And then they have so much that they'll pay for services. So that's where it comes down to, if the people with insurance can help offset the bills that never get paid, by so many people that are uninsured, that's really where the imbalance lies, is because there are still so many Americans without insurance. I just talked to somebody yesterday who said she had insurance, but she got a divorce. And the day after the divorce was final and she was pulled off the insurance, she had a medical emergency, ended up in the hospital, and that bill was hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
And so all she could do was work out a payment plan with the medical providers. And it takes the bill is hundreds of thousands of dollars that can take decades for some people to pay it back.
Yeah, 30 years fixed rate. That's
Yeah,
that's what
it's the
that's what
mortgage
we
payment.
play with it. Now, Dana, do you have an idea of what percentage are we talking about of people paying the bills of the people that cannot pay the bill? I mean, I know I'm simplifying things. I understand that, but
I would have no idea. I know people have insurance, they get a bill, and it could be, I don't know, $200,000, but the insurance accepts a third to half of that under the negotiated pricing. So I have no idea how all of that works. I'm not on that side of insurance, but I know in case after case after case that I've been able to put people in a better position by getting them health insurance.
So, I know there are a lot of supplemental policies to the health insurance, like you were talking about the critical care and disability, and you mentioned a few others. Do you think the cost of those on a monthly basis warrants the need, I guess?
Totally depends on the cost, and it depends on the person's ability to pay. I don't think anyone should have so much insurance that they can't feed their family, because that's not helpful. But also, I had someone who had a critical illness policy, had a major heart attack and a triple bypass, and his policy paid out over $18,000 lump sum. So I've seen the cases where it's paid off and they were grateful. And I've seen cases where people have carried policies for 20 years and never gotten the cancer diagnosis or never needed it. So I propose that we find a crystal ball and then we pass it around.
We need that in the real estate industry as well.
Right?
yeah.
Right? But the thing of it is we don't have that. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
We don't know which one of us will get cancer. We don't know which one of us are going to have a major illness. And then the biggest thing that I've seen is the lack of people with long-term care policies or long-term care riders on health insurance. So that is my newest passion. I'm in the Medicare world now, and I'm seeing case after case after case where people have no plan for long-term care. And I'm dealing with it directly because I'm dealing with my parents. My mom has dementia, and looking at care, even if it's in home, looking at those costs without some kind of policy to pay for that, it is in many cases cost prohibitive.
It is. My dad had dementia, and it's really tough. Really tough.
Switching a little bit towards homeowners insurance. We just had a meeting, and we were talking about this. I wouldn't say new, but it's something that we haven't heard before, and it's insurances are denying homes because the roof is under 10 years old. Well, over 10 years old. Yeah, if it's not under 10 years old, they will not insure. That's you understood what I wanted to say. Why is that?
Claims. But if you look industry wide at the number of claims and you look at how many of them have been roof related, there are probably statistics that actually look at the age of the roofs where there were claims, and they were probably 10 years or older. So insurance companies are in fact for-profit businesses, and in order for them to stay liquid and be able to pay your claim and 5,000 other claims, they have to have enough reserve funds. And it's just like other risk. Like there are companies that no longer write for plumbers because there have been so many water claims that it just becomes a liability for the insurance company to continue to write that risk. It's the same reason that most life insurance companies don't want to take out a new policy or issue a new policy for someone who's in their 70s or 80s.
Right. They don't have the time to make the money. Yeah.
Right. They're just buying claims. So that, in short, is a simplified answer.
No, and I understand. You hit the nail right there. They need to make money, and the amount of expenses is overcoming the money coming in because they have to replace so many roofs that are 15, 20 years old. And they came back with the conclusion that, they can't afford to insure those homes. Now it does put a lot of pressure on homeowners that say, well, my roof is only 15 years old and it's in perfect condition. Why I cannot sell the house if there is no way that insurance company will insure the property, because as you know, mortgage companies will never sign off on a property without homeowners insurance. So they kind of hold all the leverage on that end. I mean, you could easily say, well, okay, take me at a higher monthly and a higher premium, take me at a higher and say, but they basically just saying, no, sorry, we cannot take you. And a new roof, an average for a 2,500 square feet house, it can go in the tens of thousands of dollars. So that's a tough situation for a homeowner. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, what can you do, because you're a broker, but, what's your opinion on that? Let's break it down into your opinion on it.
Oh. As a homeowner and an owner of multiple rental properties, I don't really want to give you my opinion about insurance. I will say, though, we did have, and I wrote the policy, we had a guy with a rental property, beautiful, newly renovated, and it was a condominium unit. And somehow there was a water leak. It was a slow leak, but it ended up taking out the ceiling of the property owner below and had to file a massive claim. So my opinion of insurance is I want to pay as little as possible for it. But I also want it to be there when and if I need it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be having a claim of $10, $20, $50, $100,000 and not know that my insurance company is going to be there to assist with that claim. So like everything else, insurance is only worth the paper it's written on if you've got the right coverages. And prices are going up industry-wide. Just like most real estate prices are going up, insurance prices are also on the rise.
I agree.
Yeah, they just have to understand it's part of doing business. It's part of buying a home, and it's probably a good move for the roofers out there.
It's yeah. Yeah, insurance are like a friend of mine describes, better to have it and not needing it than to need it and not having it.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Well, Dana, thank you so much for your time. And if people would like to contact you to get more information, tell us how they can do that.
Well, they can call me at 864-723-6935, or they can shoot me an email at dana@swarner.com. That's DANA at S as in Sam, WARNER.com.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dana.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. That was cool.
There are so many options out there. I think it can be overwhelming.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And especially
if you're trying to do it on your own.
Yeah, I mean, like we run our own businesses. We have to pay our own taxes. We don't have a W-2. I remember those days. It was so easy. You just get a piece of paper and boom, there you go. No, now you have to do a profit and loss. You have to see how much money is coming in, what are your expenses, how much money you owe, make quarterly payments. And it's tax season is around the corner. We should bring a CPA. If you are a CPA,
they're probably too busy.
Oh no, yeah, we should bring it now before it gets too busy. But not to deviate from the subject. We have that on our shoulders. We also have, to run our business on a daily basis. We have to take care of our families. And now we have to choose insurance, and not just on the properties, but also health insurance. And to be honest, I don't know much about it. I let Liz take care of that because, if you ask me, I will never die. I will never get sick. I will never, that's my mindset. That's my mentality. And I'm grown eventually.
Well, and that's kind of what Dana was saying too. She was like, if I had a crystal ball, it'd be much easier to write these policies because we would know if you were going to get sick and need it or if you weren't. But I think that's such as life too, right? I mean, I think it would be great to sit down with her, look at the options, especially for those supplemental policies. But then you have to look at how much is it going to cost you a month and really weigh the pros and cons of it.
I just feel that I'm paying way too much money on insurance every month. Health insurance.
I do too, especially when we go to the doctor and then we still get a big bill. And I'm like, I thought we had insurance. Try having 3 kids.
But like she said, I guess it's the price of doing business. It's the price of living here. It's the price of
living period.
Living period. Like what you got to do, to move forward, I guess,
Yeah. And, I think a good thing to do would be to kind of sit down, if you're not using someone like her, but sit down with somebody like her, let her do a insurance review with you. Because I know like our current insurance carrier, we have had with them since we were old enough to pay our own insurance. And I'm very happy. But I think it's always good to kind of assess where you are and see, especially with, as we were talking about inflation, where you can cut without doing damage.
and you brought a good point. Don't do your taxes without a CPA if they're complicated.
Yeah.
Don't buy a house without a realtor. Don't do your insurance without an insurance broker. I mean, yes, you can, but these people
normally are going to end up paying more.
Correct. And
they're experts in their field for a reason.
And she gets paid at the end by the carrier.
Right.
So she doesn't really get paid by upfront. So there's no cost on bringing her over, take a look at what you're doing, and maybe she can save you some money. I'm definitely going to do that.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
And I did that with my CPA too. I changed CPA, and first I didn't do it. I had, TurboTax, and
that'll get you audited.
And yeah, so since I've been working with this CPA, it feels like there's no stone left unturned. I got a feeling that it's going to be the same thing with a broker that just looks at everything, looks at what I'm been paying. And the cool thing that I believe that she has is that she can look at everything. And some agents that I know, some insurance agents that I know, they only touch residential insurance or just commercial insurance, or they don't do healthcare insurance. Having a person like Dana that can take a look at the whole thing and maybe even packages.
Absolutely. And if our listeners are interested, we'll leave her, I think she said it on there, but we'll also leave her information in the comments so that you can contact her if you'd like for her to take a look at your stuff as well.
Awesome. Well, another episode that we came out smarter than when we started.
That's right.
Even that it sounds
That's the goal.
impossible. She was another educator too.
She was.
So
I'm
in an educational sandwich. I like that.
I think I need to go get a sandwich.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Bye.